What's up, Broadway fans? We are live at 5. It is Monday, October 15th. I'm Paul Wontorek.
And I'm Beth Stevens.
You sure?
And over there, we have, hey, look, it's Caitlin Moynihan.
Hi.
Hey, Beth. Some of my favorite shows here.
Darlesia Cearcy's here from Once on This Island.
Zulay, who will my love be? That's the end of my singing.
Keep
Wow.
going.
Today,
Thank you.
because
Keep going.
nobody needs that. But first, today's top 5.
A Tony nominee is returning to a fan favorite role in the West End.
That's almost correct.
Almost
so
correct.
Judy Kuhn is going to reprise her role as
Reprise.
Golda in Fiddler on the Roof at the Menier Chocolate
It's
Factory.
correct. It's just not
not
specific.
West End.
Not West End,
Oh, West End.
London.
But
oh,
okay.
got it,
Judy
got it.
Kuhn is going to be in Fiddler. She was in the last Fiddler on the Roof
I
on
saw her play
Broadway.
Golda, yeah.
She took over for Jessica Hecht. And that was directed by Bart Shear, but this one is directed by Trevor Nunn. And those two have worked together a few times. Can you name their...
There's a show called Les Mis.
There's a show called Les Mis.
And he didn't direct Chess, did
He directed Chess.
Aha.
Also,
I was
Metropolis.
obsessed, by the way. I was obsessed with
A+.
her
He
in
also
Chess
directed her
and
in-
Rags, but he didn't direct
He didn't direct
Rags.
him Rags. He directed Metropolis, and he directed her in Sunset Boulevard.
Metropolis, that was like a big
This is
thing
old school.
that never came
Anyway,
here.
Judy Kuhn will play Golda in Trevor Nunn's Fiddler on the Roof. She is joining Andy Nyman, who was previously announced as Tevye, and it begins previews on November 23rd and opens on December 5th,
Cool.
just in time for Hanukkah. I said it with a ch. There you go.
And save the date for this Broadway-bound play.
Sometimes I miss shows when they're off Broadway, you know?
We're busy with the Broadway.
I know, but
Yeah.
there's no excuse for missing Choir Boy. I missed Choir Boy when it was around
You
at
have another shot.
MTC the first time. It was at City Center, stage 2. This is, of course, Terrell Alvin McRaney's play from 2013. He went on to win an Oscar for Moonlight, a fantastic movie. Anyway, Choir Boy is coming back with its original stars, Jeremy Pope, Chuck Cooper, and Austin Pendleton, to the Samuel J. Friedman Theater. And I guess the dates got shifted around.
Yep.
I'm not really sure how. All I know is it starts December 12th, and I'll be there.
And it opens
Maybe
on
not that night, but I'm going to go see it.
It opens on January 8th.
Well, I know, but that's extraneous information.
Okay,
They could look on the site.
Okay.
And you only got a little bit longer to see this Western-inspired musical.
So this show has been running for a while. It's Desperate Measures, the Western wild version of Measure for Measure.
Yep.
It's a musical. And they've announced their closing date. They will end their engagement on October 28th at New World Stages. They began previews on May 30th and opened on June 13th, so they've been running for a while. This is by Peter Kellogg and Bill Castellino and David Friedman. And
Lauren Molina, who was here.
Lauren Molina,
Sorry.
who was here, and Connor, Ryan, and more. Check it out before October 28th.
And this play is turning 50, and we're celebrating big time.
The Price, Arthur Miller, it's back. What more do we need? It's going to the West End. This is a 50th anniversary production for Theatre Royal Bath. Bath is a place.
Bath is a place in England.
Right.
Thank you.
It's moving to the Wyndham's. Am I saying it right? Wyndham's Theatre?
Yeah, you
Beth
are.
used to live in London. So whenever there's
Briefly.
a London question, I'll look to her like, am I saying
It's
it right?
English.
Beth?
It's all English, but okay.
Jonathan Church is directing it. And hey, David Suchet's in it. He's
David
fancy.
Suchet, he was in Amadeus.
Brendan Coyle, Adrian
He was on
Lucas, and
Downton
Sarah
Abbey.
Stewart. And so it's going to the West End. It starts February 5th. And opening night, as Beth likes to tell people, is February 11th.
I like to know the opening.
I'm just messing with you.
And this acclaimed trilogy is also going to the West End. It's a West End day.
London
We're feeling
themed.
very London fans.
Before we get to
today.
Haiti, we're doing London.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sure.
With
So
Darlesia
we've talked about
Cearcy.
the Lehman trilogy before because it's coming to New York, and now it's moving to the West End. This is about the Lehman Brothers company, the dynasty of people that started
Is it
that
long?
company.
Is it a trilogy? Is it like you have to go 3 different nights?
I don't think so, but I don't.
You don't know.
I don't actually know.
Sorry.
I will tell you who's in it though. Ben Miles, who was on Broadway in Wolf Hall, Adam Godley, who was most recently on Broadway in Anything Goes, and Simon
Oh,
Russell
yeah.
Beale, who was in Spamalot.
Yeah, he's a big
and,
deal.
he's a big deal. So this is going to the Piccadilly Theater in 2019. It's coming to New York's Park Avenue Armory, and it will begin performances in the West End on May 11th. Oh, this is far away. This is far away. You can plan this way in advance for a 12-week limited run.
Here's my thought.
And Sam Mendes, very
we should
fancy.
get to today's guest.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Once on
No,
This Island,
no,
one of our
no.
favorite
There's some
shows.
London information here that people need.
Hey, Caitlin, why don't you tell us more about Darlesia?
Yes, guys, today we have Darlesia Cearcy in the studio with us today. She's currently playing Zulay, the god of love in Once on This Island on the Broadway. She's been with the production since it started, as she was an ensemble member, and she's recently taken over the role from original cast member Leia Salonga. She's previously been on Broadway in Shuffle Along, The Book of Mormon, The Color Purple, Ragtime, and The Goodbye Girl. She's done a lot of awesome stuff. She's also been on screen in House of Cards and Elementary. Be sure to follow the show on social media at Once Island B-Way so you can get some inside sneak peeks about what Darlesia is up to, and leave all of your questions in the comments down below. Please welcome Paul and Darlesia.
Hello.
Hello.
So happy you're here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
We love having people from the island on Live at 5 or anywhere at Broadway.com because we love
True.
Once on This Island.
Thank you.
How is it going? So you've been in the show since it opened.
Since the very beginning.
Right, so that's a little over a year. Like
Exactly.
about a year, like a year ago.
it
You guys
opened
were
last year, December 3rd.
Right, so
Yeah.
you were like starting up a year ago.
Yeah.
Now it's a big Tony winning smash.
Thank goodness.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you are now playing Zulay, which was Leia Salonga when it opened. Did you cover it from the beginning?
From the very beginning.
Okay. So how many times did you go on before you had actually? I mean, she had some
Quite
breaks,
a few because
right?
she had some. Yeah,
that's
she
right.
had several dates in wherever she would roam.
Yeah.
And I'd come in and take over. Like
Right.
as soon as after we opened, I think I was on for like a couple of weeks or
Yeah,
so.
that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, December 6th.
The Human Heart is like your big song, which is like one of the most beautiful Aarons and Flaherty or anything Broadway songs. Do you love that? And the moment, first of all, the stage, everything that's happening on stage is so beautiful while you're singing it. Everything about it is beautiful. What is it like to get to deliver that? Like really like, it's like such a moment for the audience to sort of live in the love of Timoon and Daniel.
You know, Lynn and Stephen have done something really quite remarkable where they've written something, and I don't know how they were channeling or what was happening in the moment that they put lyrics and music down on paper, but it's really kind of transformative. And so as you begin singing and as I move into the center of the music and really kind of understand truly what love is about, I've learned a lot from Zulay, I have to say. It really kind of transports you to another world.
Yeah.
It's a very ethereal kind of moment. And to see what's happening in the center of the stage with both Daniel and Timoon, it really takes it to a whole other place because, you know, love is the be-all and the end-all of everything. And Zulay's hope is that, you know, it trumps everything else. And clearly in the end it does.
Love, Trump, hate. I've read that before.
Here for
True
it.
or false, you've actually played Timoon.
I did.
Let's talk about your Timoon. When was that?
Did.
Where was
I
that?
played at Gateway Playhouse years and years ago, soon after the original had opened.
Uh-huh.
And Norm and I,
Norm
Norm
Lewis.
Lewis and I were in the show together. Norm was Agwe to my
wow.
Timoon. And so it was interesting when he came back into the show for 3 months. We got a chance to talk about that and relive our Once on This Island experience. And it was really amazing. I mean, Once on This Island has been my dream show for quite some time.
Yeah.
I'd listen to it and wear out the cassette tape. And
Me too.
You
Oh,
know,
I wore
when
that
there were
cassette out.
cassette tapes, right? And so it's, you know, I love Timoon. I understand her. So to play Zulay now and interact with her and feel as if I am one of her protectors
Yeah.
and guiding
Nice.
her through this process, it's kind of weird and cool all at
love
the
that.
same time.
But it also must make you appreciate, because I was also a super fan of Once on This Island before this production.
Yes.
And it must also make you realize what Michael Arden really did with it. And,
Yeah.
And what a reimagining this production is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a wonderful visionary. He was able to really kind of add so many various elements into the show that now looking at it really needed to be there. We were missing some of those things that
Yeah.
we really needed to see. Putting it in Haiti, having a real life experience, really kind of investing in some of the themes that we see in the real world
Yeah.
in our play.
Yeah. And goats.
And chickens. we're equal opportunity around here. Yeah, and to think that some of these things were really kind of crazy ideas and, you know, some conventions that we thought were just conventions,
Yeah.
but they actually turned out to be added a deep level of authenticity, which was extremely important to the cast, you know, as well as the creative team, just adding that authenticity so that we could be true storytellers, you know, which is I'm very appreciative of it.
It's a beautiful experience. If y'all
It
haven't
really
seen it, hello, go see it.
Yeah, and
How many
we
times have I said that on camera?
We're gonna keep saying
it's
it.
crazy, actually.
It's so
I'm not
good.
paid by the production.
it was
I
a
just
lot of
love
hard
it.
work, you know. We invested a lot of time and energy to really do the research, and with our dialect coach, and you know, with all the study that we had, and really kind of navigating the sand. The sand is quite
Sand.
the element, I have to tell you.
Yeah, Alex Newell was talking about the sand. He was
Oh
here talking
dear,
about the sand.
yeah.
the
It's
sand.
it's the number one challenge. No matter what day it is, you never ever get used to the sand. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't. When you're in school learning theater, you're not doing it in sand.
No.
That's not.
But it's
no.
the best diet in the world, I have to tell you.
Oh, good.
If you want to lose weight, go to the
Fantastic.
beach and dance.
You've lost weight at Once in a Island?
Oh yes.
Absolutely. I
Yes.
love that.
On the
Workout.
sand.
Now, you actually have, let's talk about your career. You've done a lot of amazing things over your
Yes.
long career.
Thankfully.
You've actually been on Broadway
For a little while.
For a little while. And I was shocked that you covered Mrs. Crosby.
Oh yes.
Is that
I
true?
did. It's
In the
true.
good- Carol Woods. So in
who
the Goodbye
I
Girl, which all
love.
you're too young to have seen,
Hey,
but I was there multiple
Yeah.
times,
Kudos
by the
to
way.
Carol. I love her.
And Carol Woods was like the sassy landlady,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And did you ever go on for her?
I did go on for her.
That's hilarious.
It
So
was
you
crazy.
think, I remember the good news is, right?
Yeah,
Bad news is-
exactly.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
my
I've been around.
God.
I've been around. Yeah, but I was and you were the stage
And
manager, which
Bernadette-
is another
yes,
pivotal
that's
role.
true.
The stage manager. Pivotal.
It was
Pivotal
my first
role.
Broadway show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
Playing the sassy,
landlady.
the over it
Right,
landlady. She was so
exactly.
over it.
Yeah.
But you were Sarah in Ragtime, correct?
Sarah in
You
Ragtime.
did that on the road and then
Yes,
on Broadway.
I did the first national tour, and then I came back and did
Well,
the
that
Broadway
must have
company.
just been incredible.
It was the best thing I've ever done, by far.
Yeah.
I learned so much from her. And again, Lynn and Steven with that music.
Yeah, I know.
mean, we know what kind of catalog they have, but that was epic. It was epic, epic, epic.
Yeah. When did you realize you could sing? When did that start?
When
How
I
old
was
were you?
6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
Growing up
I
where?
had my first job when I was 6. I got paid $200.
What? Doing what?
I did a show back in Houston, Texas. I'm from
Okay.
Texas. It was called Inner Wonder for Stevie Wonder.
Oh.
And we did all of Stevie Wonder's music. That's why.
Well, I'm still waiting for the Stevie Wonder musical.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
coming
it
up
would,
next.
Stevie
it would be
Wonder
absolutely
musical. You
amazing.
heard it here first.
Exactly. Inner Wonder for Stevie Wonder. And so I danced, but I had to sing as part of the audition. And so the only thing that I knew to sing was Happy Birthday at the time. And then that's when my mother, we'd all discovered, oh, well, she actually has a voice.
It just came out of your mouth. You
and
just
it
were
just,
like,
yeah.
wow.
And then from that moment forward, I just continued on that way.
wow. And you did theater in school?
I did I've been studying since I was a child. I've had all
Wow.
kinds of private studies and classes. Houston Ballet, I was a ballet scholarship student for like 10 years.
You were also in the original Color Purple,
Indeed.
right? And you played Nettie and
Nettie.
Celie? Did you play Celie
I
at some
did,
point?
yeah, I understudied Celie too. I don't know if that
Did
was
you
a
go
good
on as
idea.
Celie?
I did. I did. I was happy being Nettie,
Yeah.
But because it's really odd playing opposite yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're on as Celie, it
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
challenge.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Wow.
I love all of my characters, all the characters that I've ever
Well,
played
you've been able to play such
on
great
Broadway.
characters. I mean, these are amazing
they're
roles.
really wonderful characters, and I've
Yeah.
learned from each and every one of them. I always think that you get a chance to, I have conversations with them. We write letters to each other. I know.
The character? You write letters
I write letters
the
to my
characters?
character. Yeah, yeah.
You've talked to Celie?
I, yeah,
Nettie
I mean,
is
it's like
doing?
it's part of the process.
Wow,
you
you
know,
still do
just
that?
I still do it. I still
Wow.
have
I love that.
connections and conversations with them, and I always ask what it is that you want me to
Do they
learn,
write you
and how
back?
can I? Well, obviously not, but
I thought maybe you write back as a character.
well,
No, that's an interesting process.
yeah.
It just helps you get to know them.
It
on a
helps me
different-
to understand a whole lot more about my character. Yeah.
Wow. And you also, I'm just bragging about you now, but you were in the original cast of Book of Mormon,
That's
right?
correct.
And which was, I remember when Book of Mormon opened, it was kind of like this is crazy what we're doing up here. How are people going to react? Do you remember that? I mean, of course you remember. I remember like after the workshop, everyone was like,
had
you have no idea
meetings.
what they're doing in this show. It's nuts.
Exactly.
And it was kind of like, are people going to storm out?
It was all red papered. We had no idea what was going on. When I first auditioned, they handed you the sheet, you had to give it back. And,
Yeah.
in the studio, all the doors and windows were
secret.
covered. It was totally top secret.
You
And
were in
when
a
I
cave.
finally joined, some people had gotten a phone call saying, oh, well, there's a particular song in the show that says la, 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 right? And so I never got that call. So by the time we started rehearsal, we were sitting there and we started playing and rehearsing the song. And then people started singing and I was like, wait, what is this? I didn't know. They're like, oh, no one called you? I was like, oh, no one told me. No one said it working. I just have a minute.
Oh, my God.
And so, but it turned, of course, it turned out to be the most irreverent piece of theater you've ever seen, right? It was a wonderful kind of workshop in comedy that I had never had. And it was so much fun. So much fun. We had several meetings where we were thinking, okay, we're going to run for maybe about 2 years and we need to have more security and, just find out the exits backstage because we know people are going to be protesting, and none of that happened.
Right. Yeah.
It was a delightful surprise.
How long did you
it's
end
the
up
gift
staying?
that's kept on giving.
Did you stay there for a while?
For about 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I stayed
Wow.
for a
And
little
then
while.
you also, I would have loved to been in the rehearsal room watching Shuffle Along come together.
Oh, dear God.
Because you covered for Audra McDonald's character,
Yeah, I
right?
stood by for her.
Lottie G, right?
Yeah, Lottie G.
Lottie G, yeah.
Yeah.
That show, I only got to see it once, but it was so, it was right my cup of tea. George C. Wolfe is like
Yeah,
a god
he's
to me.
brilliant. Yeah.
So what was it
Absolutely
like
brilliant.
watching, and that company, those actors and
The company
Savion
was
Glover, and,
absolutely remarkable. It's the highest standards that you could possibly ask for, and everybody worked extremely hard in the room. And it was such an honor and a pleasure to be in the room, to not only be Lottie G too when I needed to be, but also just to sit and watch the magic happen. And Savion Glover, he's an absolute genius. Everybody knows that. And the process in which the company went through when they were rehearsing for all of the tap numbers, each section of the show that they were in, he had each of them to go into the center of the room individually and go through each section.
Oh,
and
wow.
other people just sat around watching. And you had to remember everything and know exactly. And then the lectures and the conversations that were happening where he was like, I don't want you to pass out on stage. You need to go to the gym. You need to work out.
right.
Is that because this is hard? And he was not joking. It's
the energy on that show, I know.
and what George did too, as George is the son, and he made that very clear. George is the son, and we were all kind of navigating around him and his ideas, and he hardly ever slept. And I wondered where, this excessive amount of brilliance is going to come from yet again. But it just kept happening, page after page, and there were several pages that changed at a time. But the whole experience was so beautiful. I'm so thrilled I got a chance to be a part of that, to witness and participate. It's like no other experience, really.
There's certain shows that haunt me that I think about. You know what I mean? Like there's certain
just wish
shows
that there
that
was a
totally just
recording.
drift out of my mind. I never think about it again. And Shuffle Along is one of those shows I think about often. And I think,
my
God, I wish I
goodness.
could just sort of see it all again.
And art seemed to imitate life, really, at the end of the day. By the time we finished the run, with all of the characters and, their ghost-like ability to affect whatever was happening in the theater, that really kind of happened. It was very eerie. you know.
So what do you love about the Once on This Island family? Because I know it is a family.
It is a family. It's, it's a lively crew.
Yes, I know.
It's a lively crew, and we're all busy, and everyone is truly investing in what we're doing on the stage, and with all of its elements and all of the challenges that anybody faces during any production, 8 shows a week. We keep it happy around there. We celebrate each other. We support each other. We make sure that we find something to laugh about at all times, even when we're in the circle.
Right.
It's
Awesome.
lovely.
I'll be
It's
back.
awesome.
I'm always there.
Please come back.
Hey, Kaylin, any questions
Oh, yeah.
online?
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of questions, let me tell you. I really love this one, though. Brianna Simpkins says, you have played so many iconic Black roles in musical theater. What does representation mean to you?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's a big question.
That's
That's
a
a
big
big
question.
question. You know, we were asked something relatively similar to that lately about just diversity, because that's the time that we're in now. And a lot has happened. And we're really looking at making sure that it continues to develop. You know, I think we're still somewhat at the very beginning of seeing a lot of diversity happen within the musical theater world, particularly on Broadway. And I'm glad that our show actually represents a part of that diversity. Backstage, on stage, including with our animal life, we have true diversity.
Yeah.
And so it's a privilege, and it's also a responsibility, I think, for me to be able to stand in the position that I am in right now, and in the positions that I have been in before as those various characters, and say that this can happen for you. I am here to show you that, you know, with hard work and dedication, that you can live your dream, you know, you can live your passion, you can meet your characters that are here to help other people ask these questions like you're asking.
That's beautiful.
Wonderful.
I love that. Niall asks, what do you think you've learned the most from playing Zulay? And he said in parentheses, seen the show 10 times, love you.
Get out! Oh, that's funny. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, Zulay is so magical. I really love her. Zulay, I'm trying not to cry here.
You can cry. It's okay.
We've all cried in here. It's fine.
She's Zulay Freda, and she has a group of people that work with her. There's a Zulay Danto, a Zulay Freda, according to the Haitian Vodou religion, right? And they work in tandem with one another. She's all about love. When you look through the lens of love, you get a chance to see so many things about how people don't understand how loved they truly are. That when you're walking about the planet, you know, you think, there are times in which you think I'm lonely, or I'm by myself, or no one understands me, or, you know, how can I be accepted? How can I make a change? What is my purpose? All of these, you know, existential questions that people tend to ask from time to time. But what I'm learning from her is that you are never, ever alone, ever. You may think you are, no matter what religion, you know, or faith base you come from, there is always something there, a presence that is looking after you, helping you, guiding you. If you open up and you are receptive to it, that it is unbelievable what you are capable of doing. And I'm learning about love in a very expansive way, how to let things go, about forgiveness, about what it is to truly, truly love. And it's not necessarily some of these artificial things that we think about, you know, on the surface reality. It has nothing to do with that. When you see a heart and a soul meet and connect with one another, that's something that's really, really real. And it doesn't matter what body it's in. It's extremely important to have that connection, because that connection is going to help everything else. Yeah.
Wow,
That's awesome.
you're so deep and
I know.
inspiring. I love it. I love it.
Okay, we can do one more question, I think. Okay, this is just like a fun one. If you could play another character in the show, who would it be and why?
In once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because she's the complete antithesis to who I am now, I would probably say Papa Gay.
I'm into that.
Here
Why
for
not?
Just to understand the challenge, you know, and to explore what that dark world is like. Yeah.
I mean, you could just keep going with Once in a Silent. You can just keep graduating to different roles. I'm into it.
I'm here for
I'd love
it.
to see your Daniel. Why not?
I love it.
Hey, everybody. Once in a Island. It's a good show. You may have heard me say that before. Darlesia Cearcy is our Zulay at the Circle in the Square Theater. Go check her out.
Thank you.
And hey, Caitlin, why don't you take us out?
I love it.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We are live at 5 every single day on Facebook. You can listen to all of our shows in a podcast form by searching for #live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow when we talk to Sarah Mackenzie Barron from The Office, a musical parody.